Did you know when you decide to leave forever, the narcissist will suffer? In this video, the proof. Greetings everyone and welcome back to another thrilling video. Before we delve into our topic, I extend a heartfelt invitation to you to join me on this enthralling journey of exploration by subscribing and following along. For those new to our community, I extend a warm welcome. Thank you for choosing to be part of our extended family. Your presence and engagement are deeply appreciated, and if you find value in our content, a simple click of the like button can help our community thrive. Today's discussion centers around the theme of dealing with narcissism and its aftermath. As we embark on this exploration, it's evident that your departure marks the onset of a new chapter, one where the repercussions of your absence are keenly felt. Shall we delve into it further? The act of separation, whether initiated by you or the narcissist, signifies a significant shift. Regardless of the catalyst, you've stepped away from the limelight, reclaiming control over your narrative. As we navigate this terrain, let's shed light on the aftermath left in your wake. The ensuing journey is fraught with complexities, often shaped by the narratives spun by those still allied with the narcissist. This marks just the beginning of our journey, one characterized by twists and turns that demand our attention. And for those who've encountered similar experiences, the path may feel all too familiar, influenced by the stories propagated by the so-called confidants and associates of the narcissist. Now that you've departed, let's illuminate the situation regarding the intriguing character you've left in your wake. Well then, where shall we start? The onset of suffering is imminent, and here's how it's poised to unfold, ensuring you're fully informed. For those tuning in who've undergone similar experiences, they've likely had accounts from the so-called flying monkeys and others associated with the narcissist, laying the groundwork for this suffering. In the wake of your departure, those closely aligned with the narcissist have witnessed this scenario play out repeatedly. However, they'll never divulge this, especially not the family. The truth remains veiled. They'll never acknowledge encountering individuals akin to you before, with identical outcomes each time. This information remains withheld. Consequently, the narcissist faces significant challenges ahead. Even before the discard process, the smear campaign was underway. It commenced. Now that you've taken control and exited, the narcissist has redirected their focus towards their family. Assuming a female narcissist, I'll endeavor to adopt her perspective, given my gender, to voice probable sentiments. From her viewpoint, from the very start, I cautioned you about her instability. I described her relentless efforts to control me, insisting on having the final say in every matter. She objected to my socializing with friends, even those I've known since childhood, claiming I spent too much time with them and dictated whom I could contact and what activities I could engage in. For men, you may find parallels in your own experiences. These are likely the sentiments a female narcissist will express to her family. Conversely, he discouraged me from spending time with my female friends, constantly suspicious of my actions and accusing me of secrecy. He demanded excessive control over my life. This is the narrative they're disseminating to their confidants, their version of events. Every individual who lends an ear to this caricature is a musing figure crowned with self-importance, as one of our tribe members aptly described. Inadvertently becomes part of their audience. Though I couldn't help but chuckle at the imagery, this narrative is the crux of their tale. Yet, let's not overlook their expertise gained through repeated cycles of manipulation. Before they launched the smear campaign against you, their tactics had already begun, even prior to the official end of the relationship. They meticulously choose whom to tarnish your name to, knowing they'll need these individuals once the discard takes place. These are the same people who were outspoken critics throughout your relationship, revealing their disdain for you from the beginning, evident in their initial treatment of you. Initially, they may have appeared welcoming, offering compliments like, "She's nice, she's this, she's that." However, as the relationship, or what I prefer to term, the addictionship with the narcissist, unraveled and discrepancies emerged, they turned to these vocal critics. Whether it's remarks about your beauty or education, the pattern is consistent. This applies equally to men. a scenario can be flipped to match your experiences, gentlemen. They engage these individuals, sowing seeds of doubt and systematically undermining your character. Consequently, their perception of you was tainted even before the discard. When you invited them somewhere, they'd invent excuses like, "We have other plans." "We're unable to make it that day." "We have other commitments," they'd say. However, the truth was they were actively engaged in the smear campaign. Their avoidance of you stemmed from the falsehoods fed to them by the narcissist, tailored to suit their desires. It's crucial to bear in mind that every move a narcissist makes is calculated. Now, let's revisit the topic of suffering. Indeed, they had already embarked on strategically tarnishing your reputation prior to the discard. Following the discard, they intensified their efforts abruptly. They reconnected with those they initially targeted with the smear campaign, perhaps a sibling, a parent, or anyone within their social circle susceptible to their manipulations. This could encompass members of their inner circle, regardless of gender, who were receptive to their narrative. They singled out individuals who harbored reservations about you from the start, drawn to your refinement, wisdom, and inner light, a stark contrast to their own insecurities. Irrespective of your perception, it's a fact that where there's one narcissist, another lurks nearby, and my dear, they simply don't hold affection for you, okay? Their disdain was evident from the outset, as they were well aware that their relationship with you would have both a beginning and an end. And now the ordeal begins. So, who will now provide them with fuel money? Yes, I said it. Who will cook their meals? Who will bridge the financial gap left by the narcissist? Typically, you were the one compensating for their shortcomings, as they rarely contributed anything meaningful. Yet you made excuses for them out of love. I understand. I've been there, done that, and have the t-shirt to prove it. They're all detractors indeed. Thus, the narcissist turns to these detractors to accomplish their objectives. But there's more. A smear campaign persists. Who will now fund their expenses? They must rely on their new supply, their subpar new supply. Yes, I said it, and I stand by it. This new supply can't offer even a fraction of what you provided. Here's why. The narcissist perpetually believes the grass is greener elsewhere. However, it's only upon turning that metaphorical grass that they realize there's dirt on the other side too. If only they had invested effort in nurturing their own side of the metaphorical grass. Regrettably, they lack the capacity for such care. This deficiency stems from their inherent nature and the traits of their disorder, characterized by selective ignorance. Yes, I'm asserting this unequivocally. They lack logical reasoning skills. When faced with someone devoid of reason, they are, without doubt, a fool, an utter fool. Now that you've departed the stage and assumed control of the reins, my dear, you've vanished. The narcissist must now rely on their entourage, their flying monkeys who now handle the logistics, including fuel and meals. Soon, you'll receive calls from these flying monkeys, initiating what's known as proxy hoovering on the narcissist's behalf. They may express concern, suggesting reconciliation, emphasizing the involvement of children, and urging a period of reflection. However, what exactly warrants a few days' contemplation? A return to the tumultuous past? I think not. At this juncture, you may be grappling with intense anguish, feeling as though a piece of your soul has been lost. However, I must emphasize, enduring the pain now and letting it diminish is far preferable to ever contemplating a return to that chaos. Now here's the reality. As you've moved forward, the suffering commences. Why? Because, as it turns out, the new supply fails to meet the narcissist's needs. They simply can't provide what's required. This inadequacy stems from the fact that, upon your departure, they lost their appeal. They were a thrilling diversion while you were present, tending to every need of the narcissist as the primary source of supply. Meanwhile, while you diligently managed household responsibilities, they reveled carelessly. Often, these individuals lack steady employment, or if they do hold a job, it's typically low-level and insufficient to support even one adult, let alone a household. Consequently, you bore the burden of all responsibilities while they frolicked, betrayed you behind your back, and returned home with a deceitful smile. Now, my dear, the repercussions are unfolding as the brigade and those flying monkeys scramble to fill the void you've left. Hence, you may find yourself receiving or have already received calls urging reconciliation and discussion. And you know what? If you happen to be watching this video and receive such a call, be clear with them. Listen, I've reached a point where I won't engage in discussions with someone who didn't genuinely care about me. Upon reflection, it's evident they were never truly invested in you. They knew you were dealing with a disaster, a literal demon, yet remained silent. Why entertain someone like that? All they're doing now is trying to unload their burden onto you again. But no, thank you. I've regained control of my life. I'm moving forward. They can keep that chaos just as it was when you first discovered it. Understand? Because now that you've moved on, the suffering begins, and they're wary of the narcissist, seeking another scapegoat. This is the harsh reality unfolding. They're now forced to make up for what the new supply lacks compared to you, my dear. They never possessed your charm or charisma, nor could they handle situations as adeptly as you. In fact, the new supply is likely another narcissist, much like them, either covert or inverted. I hesitate to call it a new supply. It's more akin to a recycled pigeon. That's typically who they end up with. So, my dear, now that you've departed, the ordeal commences. Let them grapple with the consequences of their choices. They turned a blind eye when you endured hardships and voiced concerns about their family's questionable conduct. They were too preoccupied rushing back to the narcissist, relaying every word you uttered. Let them face the music now. Now that you've moved on, remain gone. You're already familiar with this tactic. Raise your frequency and vibe. Stay attuned to your intuition, your discernment. Crank it up to the maximum, as I always advise. That's the only way to keep yourself free from these individuals. They don't genuinely care about your well-being. Keep that in mind. Now that you've departed, their suffering begins. Let them dwell in that state with their flying monkeys and new supply. It's done. Before we wrap up this video, I want to remind you all to stay blessed and highly favored, and I'll catch you in the next one. But before you leave, please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences. If you believe this video could benefit someone else, feel free to share it. And lastly, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop with our latest content. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to continuing to provide valuable content. Stay resilient, everyone. Farewell for now.